so grateful to you for putting this project together over the last however many years you've really been thinking about it and executing the plan and actually doing it. I know it probably a lot longer than 3 years, but for me,
Six months, six months in the planning and the
there you
last three
go.
and a half years of execution.
There
So
you go. There you go. Yeah. So, again, it's changed my life. It's changed the lives of a lot of people. And we're just excited to be in the saddle with you, hitching our wagon to your vision and, helping you bring this to life and bring it to the world. So take it away. I know you got some numbers for us tonight, and we're excited. So thanks so much, Lynette.
yep, you're welcome. So yeah, just to kind of say further on that, I always I know everybody is excited about the project and rightfully should be because it's an amazing project, but it wouldn't be where it's at today without the community. So while everybody loves the project, we're definitely grateful for the community who is getting it out there and sharing it and helping us change the lives of many people. Numbers wise, you guys are probably not going to be real happy with me, but this last couple of days, I've been working my buns off trying to get everything ready. And I think probably tonight is not going to be the night to do the numbers because I'm not completely done. But what I am going to give you guys updates on is that we did go over the 31,000 miners in the mining dock. So that's amazing. We are over 50, we're almost at 5,200 people. Wallets, I should say, 5,200 wallets that are submitting. So again, another really good place to be. We're just gotten over the halfway mark of our goal to 10,000. So hopefully we can really hit that in the next 30 days. Um, I had a relatively short conversation with Waleed, and so it's looking like maybe in the next 2 to 3 days, we'll begin, testing the app, making sure that it's where we want it to be as far as a few people that we've asked to test it out and give us some feedback. So we're probably looking at about 7 days, maybe 14 tops before we'll be ready to introduce the app and the new website, the new light paper, which is going to make the onboarding so much easier for everybody. The new pricing the new pricing on the submissions will go into effect on Saturday, just so everybody knows. Making sure that all the math and the numbers are right because I can't change the algorithms, but I have to kind of like redesign that algorithm for the submission piece without affecting it. And everybody is absolutely obviously loving our evolution prices because the evolving has been going on like crazy. So we're really excited about that. I did want to address one thing. Somebody had asked me a question in WhatsApp, and basically what I said was, why don't you go ahead and ask it in the chat and then I'll respond to it because it's harder for me to read. I don't always remember. So I'm going to actually just read what they had wrote. And then I'll respond to it because I guess it's been asked by several people. And I think we need to do what I really need is I've written 5 ebooks and I really need to make those available to our community because it really spells out crypto from beginning to where we're at currently, from everything from, tokenomics and liquidity pools and trading and swapping and holding and, simplified trading, basically the way I have taught people to do it. Just kind of it kind of simplifies it for people. But this question made me realize that I think one of the biggest um, people don't understand crypto. They just don't understand it. They don't understand the liquidity pools. They don't understand how any of this stuff works. And the question was the one question that has come up multiple times from members within my group is with regards to the liquidity pool for MoveQuest. It was mentioned that as more members join and upgrade, the liquidity in the pool will grow. There is no doubt that new people are joining and many are upgrading. However, the size of the liquidity pool has been fluctuating and dropping. It went as low as 2.5 million recently, even with members upgrading. Can you address this question on the call tonight as It is on the minds of a lot of people in this project. Well, my response was this. Well, there's a really easy answer. Thank God for the liquidity provision, or the liquidity would probably be around $200,000 or less right now. To date, it's actually over $7 million that has been cashed out in that liquidity pool in less than 8 weeks. I don't have the data for the first 2 weeks. I'm retrieving that right now. So it's probably closer to 10 million actually that people have cashed out from selling their MoveQuest tokens on the market. And I said, what a blessing to be able to maintain between 2.5 and $3 million in the liquidity pool with a market value between 57 and $70. Any other project would have already crashed by now because, first of all, the community is not going to put their own 10 million plus the 3 million that's in there. We're talking about $13 million in the last 8 weeks. They're not going to leave that liquidity in there for a community to oversell. They would have already pulled it out. But because of the liquidity provision, it's allowing people to do that and still maintain a very healthy market value. Not only that, but there's not a project out there that's ever seen this type of growth. Not one. Not one. Find me one project that made it to $110 and was able to still in 8 weeks maintain at, 60 to $70, still have people cashing out hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, still maintain a market value, still maintain 2.5 to $3 million in liquidity on a daily basis with hundreds of thousands of dollars being sold every single day. So I don't really know why that's difficult to understand, but it's the ecosystem, folks. That's why it's doing this. What you're seeing in that liquidity pool is not a bad thing. It's so healthy, honestly, because any other project right now, that token would be below 30 cents. It would probably barely have $200,000 in liquidity right now. So what this project is doing is absolutely amazing. It's mind blowing for people that have never seen anything like this. And you have never seen anything like this because it's never been done before. And so, what makes me really laugh is that, and don't take me wrong, guys, I'm like the female version of Donald Trump. So if you don't like me, that's okay. I just have to kind of say it like I see it. Think about this. You get all of these people in the crypto world that get ecstatic because something made it to 5 cents. Oh my God, do you see it? 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents. Sell, 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 sell. Our flipping coin made it to $110 and it's stabilizing at between 57 and 67 to $70. And people want to ask, why is it doing that? Well, what the hell? I mean, the better question is, oh my God, look at what it's doing. The cup is not half empty, folks. This cup is like overflowing and it's already changing lives. This is probably the best project you are ever going to lay your eyes on. Seriously. So there is nothing bad happening here, guys. This is probably the most stable, most amazing project that you will ever, ever, ever be a part of. And if you ever find one better, please, please, please bring it to me. I got to see it. That's all I got tonight.
Oh, I was gonna say, is that a pause or?
That's all I got.
I was just waiting. You dropping the bombs. I was letting you drop them. Yeah. This is
Oh, God.
You're right, Lynette. It's all about education, though. Honestly, you
I
know.
mean, get this. I'm going to interrupt you real quick because I got
Go
one
ahead. Go
more.
ahead. Go ahead.
Do you
Absolutely.
know, because you were right there too, and Brandon Ivy and all these other, a lot of builders, if people were just making $5 a day, this will go viral. Do you know that people are complaining because they're making $200 a day when they were making 300? And what is going on?
Mm,
Whoa. Okay, hold on here, folks. What happened to I'd be happy if I was making five a day?
mm,
You know what I'm saying? It's like the
hmm.
reason that it's going down is because people are overselling, but that is going to slow down because the more people that are getting involved, it's going to distribute those tokens out amongst more people. And you'll really start to see it's already starting to slow down. It's already starting to balance out better than what it was. So anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Nah,
I had
please.
to
I'm
throw
just,
that in there too, because,
yeah.
everybody always wants more than what they got.
Hmm.
And so the next time somebody comes to me and tells me, if we could just get them to make $5 a day, they'll be happy. I am going to bust a gut laughing because it's not true.
Not true. Mm. They just want to eat, 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 right? Yeah. So
Well,
I was
no,
just,
it's not that. You get excited like, okay, you're making $300 a day. Gone are the days of $5. That's not even fun anymore to think about. Now, yeah,
Mhm.
when we were talking about it, that was fun. $5 a day, heck yeah, we can do that. People are making $200 and $300 a day doing what you're already doing anyway.
Mm.
Except now we challenge you to do more so that you can make more. And those people that push themselves to do that, they're making more. Heck yeah, nobody wants $5 or $10 a day. They want that 200, they want that 300. But if you want that to continue to go up, you got to stop overselling.
Yeah.
If you're selling to evolve, that's kind of a loop feature because it just goes right back in, to the liquidity. But if you're overselling, just oversell, that does
Yeah.
affect, the market value. Of course, you're going to make a little bit less. But guys, if you're making $50 a day, if you're making $25 a day doing what you're already doing, that's amazing.
Full-time income for some folks, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very powerful. And again, I probably said this more than anything I've said in my life, but we haven't even been here 90 days. It's
No, I
like
know.
we haven't
Not
really
even.
even scratched the
Right.
scratch of what's really possible. So Lynette, the 10,000, why is that significant? The 10,000 miners
The
or submitting
10,000,
submitting
yeah,
wallets.
the 10,000 wallets submitting. One thing, it's getting us closer to that $100,000 mark where that MoveQuest is going to lock on the minting of those miners, right? And it could
Right.
happen between 50,000 and 100,000. We'll know when the algorithm triggers it to lock that price, but we're probably looking at closer to the 80 to 100,000 miners in the mining dock. Now, when that happens, those miners get more expensive. That means that your miners become more in demand, more valuable. It's going to make that challenge, the leasing, very competitive. It's going to make it also very, uh, again, supply and demand. It's going to make those miners that are being leased in high demand, which is going to really increase people's income, the revenue that they're making, because now they get to lease out those miners to people who can't afford to mint them. Because those Lenny miners, once that MoveQuest locks, let's say it locked at a half a MoveQuest, and MoveQuest goes up to $10,000, and it will go to 10,000. There's no, it absolutely will.
Mm.
A Lenny miner will cost you
Love it.
$5,000. You need 16 of them to get to 8 Omegas. 16 Lennies times $5,000. I mean, you do the math on that.
Yeah. Herschel, got
Yeah.
anything?
There is a first mover's
Numbers.
advantage in everything. And you all are here for that. And so when people can't afford to mint those miners, guess what they are going to do? They're going to go to the
Yes.
marketplace. They're going to lease
Yes.
those miners.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is all
Yeah.
happening based off of the growth of the community, right, Lynette?
Correct. Everything. It's all community driven. The success of this project is completely community driven. 100%. And the beautiful thing about the leasing is this. If a when you go and you look at your other projects, if they can't afford to get involved, guess what? They can't be part of the community. You'll lose them. Here,
Right.
if they can't afford to mint the miner, guess what? They're still a part of the community. All they got to do is create a wallet, fund it, stake to your miner, and bam, they're part of the community and they're part of the ecosystem. And so that ecosystem keeps pushing this and driving this, and it gets bigger and better.
Mm,
You don't need the new money coming in. You need the community growth. And
there you
that's where
go.
the leasing of those miners come in. So those of you that are stocking up on those miners, I'm telling you, probably the smartest thing you could do. That is your digital real estate. And it'll probably be more valuable than a lot of homes on the market today.
Mm. Wow. Just tell y'all when Lynette talks numbers, folks, listen.
I was
Please,
telling my son today, he called
please.
me up. I can't remember what he was saying. I'm like, listen, everything in life is numbers. Dates are numbers. Times are
Mm,
numbers. The number of letters in your name are numbers. Everything is a number.
Mm.
Everything, this whole universe, everything operates on numbers. It's all numbers. Everything in life is numbers and math. And this is the best.
Mm. Mr. Crow, what you got, bro?
Oh, well, I'm just going through the chat, and there's
Yeah.
one thing I definitely wanted to see if we can get clarification on in reference to tomorrow and the end of the blitz. Is there a specific time? I know we said 72 hours that started at about 10 a.m. Eastern time yesterday. So I'm trying to see if that gives us to 10 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday, or is it going to be tomorrow sometime?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm really liking the evolution activity that's taking place right now. I think that this is really helping people to uh, upgrade and do what they need to do to get prepared for the rebrand. I don't know that I'm going to end it in 72 hours. As long as people are still pushing, as long as they're still evolving, I'm going to let it ride.
Mm. Okay. I had a feeling you'd say that.
Well, it's not, it's,
Yeah.
it's not about the money. It's about
Yeah.
people upgrading and being able to be a part of the ecosystem itself. And what I'm
Right.
seeing is that this is a comfort zone for people and they're able to do more of the evolving,
Right.
and so to me right now, it's important that people are able to move forward in the system.
Right.
So as long as everything is stable and everything is doing like it's supposed to do, I'm happy and we'll hold off on increasing those as long, once we start to see it slow down, then we'll go ahead and let the system take over because the system is telling us what it needs to be at. But right
Right.
now, I don't want to chop people off at the knees a day early or 2 days early just because of an algorithm. So
Mm.
we're gonna, if it needs to go on for a few more days and that's gonna help people out, then that's what we're gonna do.
There we go. So no hard stop for right now.
No hard stop.
So let's
We'll
run,
let you know
folks.
when. I mean, it is gonna
Yeah.
go up, but
Yeah.
whether it's gonna be in 3 days or a week, it's all if the community is getting business done and they're pushing this, and seems to be the comfort price point for them right now.
Right.
We can let it go. If it starts to slow down again, then we'll let the system take over because that's when the system needs to do what it's got to do. But
Right.
right now, the amount of evolving that's going on is making up for it. We're actually the algorithm is kind of back down a little bit anyhow.
Mm.
So a lot of it is a balance, and it's all about supply and demand balancing act.
Right.
Um, so right now with the extra evolving that's going on, it's actually balancing out very nicely.
Mm.
Wonderful,
Wow.
wonderful. And I know a few minutes ago you did mention that it will probably be Saturday when the submission fees would
Yeah.
be for each level. I'm just asking because it was asked in the chat. Do we already know what those fees are going to look like?
Well, what I'm going to do is explain to you guys how the algorithm will work. I'm not going to do it tonight, but kind
Right.
of so you guys have an idea because it'll fluctuate now.
Okay.
So it'll be based on the market value of the token, um, as well as like what's being based on the minting of the miners. So it's going to take a couple of other factors into effect, and it may not be the same, every single day. It could fluctuate a couple of different times during the day because again, it's all about that balancing, injecting the proper liquidity and everything that needs to be done. So there's a specific amount that the submissions are responsible for, and it's based on several different factors, and it's about dividing it amongst the different mining powers. So I kind of changed the algorithm a little bit, testing it right now, making sure it's all perfect. And that's why we're taking that extra day or two. So I don't like changing things. I don't like changing things that work. So when I do make a change, I got to make sure it's going to work and it makes sense.
Understood. Understood. Here's another one, and you've kind of touched on it in points over time, but the balancing act. Will there be a point in the future or at some point where no assistance is needed and the project works on its own with no assistance?
Yep. When we hit about 25 to 30,000 users that are mining with the 8 miners, it doesn't matter what level of miner.
Gotcha.
That's when it really takes on a whole life of its own. Right now, it's when I say a balancing act, and this would be with any project. If a creator was really paying attention to how things work, you've got to look at so many factors. It's not just about the buying and the selling, but it's also about what's going on within the ecosystem. What percentage of, submissions, what percentage of MoveQuest is being removed from circulation, what percentage is being sold each day, and based on what percentage is being purchased each day, how many people are unlocking the mining docks each day, how many people are evolving each day, what is the average, what is the trend, is there a slowdown during this time period of the month or during that time period of the month or this time period of day. There's all these different trends and these different things that come into play. And then when I say balancing act, when I'm not talking about, manipulation type of balancing, it's all about making sure that the numbers mesh and work so that everything stays stable and moves along like it's supposed to.
And at the beginning of the call, you mentioned that the fees would go up on Saturday, or they would be listed on Saturday for the different levels. And I can't remember earlier this week, you mentioned a timeline for the forming. Will that happen before the app?
Hopefully that'll be done on Saturday as well. So
Perfect.
Nice.
I know a lot of people are excited about that.
yeah, me too. That will be a really good, again, here I go with balancing, because everything with me is about balance when you're looking at liquidity. When I say the word balancing act, but again, that farming is going to be a critical point as well, because that contract will become part of the algorithm, because it will know what's not available, what's not being sold, because it's in that contract. And so that's going to make a big difference as far as what trends and what, is happening as far as the buying and the selling goes. So think about it right now, there's 264,000 MoveQuest being held in community wallets. Well, if there's 150,000 of those MoveQuests that are in that stake, that farming contract, that's 150,000 MoveQuests that's not going to be sold. That's something that these algorithms will be able to take into account, these other smart contracts, when they're reading data.
Gotcha.
Like right now, it doesn't know what's going to be sold. It just knows 264,000 is circulating.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying? But when it's in that farming contract, it will know that those aren't being sold. That will make a huge difference on, a lot of things that, are taking place as well.
Got it.
And once our community grows, that stability is huge, because the submissions and the claims, believe it or not, that's a large amount of liquidity that goes into that pool every single day.
Gotcha. Now, I'm going to ask this question because Ramon just asked, with the leasing, the challenges, etc., will all of that help with stability?
100%.
We know it does, because people will be able to participate whether they're actually mining in the ecosystem or not, or what have you. And the challenges in the leasing, they're still contributing to the ecosystem. So that definitely adds stability. And then his next question or statement was, will there possibly be a miner that's free like Bob?
No, never.
Got it. And that's one of the reasons with that is that balancing of the ecosystem and letting it operate on its own. And two, people can still participate in the ecosystem with the leasing challenges, events, and other things that are taking place. But in order to mine, a miner has to be acquired.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so again, here I go with these crazy words, but I don't know a better way to say it. Look at welfare, right? If all you do is hand out money, what happens? Inflation, your taxes, everybody, you just become more broke. But people depend on that free money. Well, here's the thing. Nobody gets wealthy doing nothing. It takes money to make money. And so while over on the Binance Smart Chain, these different things we did to test, the beta testing, all the phases that we went through, Bob was not really a good thing over there, because they didn't contribute to the ecosystem. If you want to play, you got to pay. And if the more you play, the more it pays. It takes money to make money. I mean, I don't go out in my backyard and pick money off a tree. It's not falling out of a coconut tree either. This stuff don't happen. You've this is an ecosystem. This is an economy. This is a digital currency. It's your digital real estate. This is like, I mean, imagine, your city or your town that you live in, and you go to the grocery store and you buy it all works because people are spending that money. And that's what this ecosystem does. And so we don't want to create that welfare system here. We'll have the leasing. If people want to lease and they can't afford to do the miners, they can go and lease. There will be people that will not make a person pay the rental fee up front. You'll be able to look for a miner where they'll get their rental fee when you submit your proof of physical activity. And the person who's leasing that miner out will be able to claim his rental fee at that time. And so there will be a way for people to get involved without having to spend money up front. But as far as the project creating a free miner, we won't do it. It had an adverse effect. It was not a positive thing.
I'm excited. I'm excited you're extending that too, because everybody's excited to evolve right now to save a little bit of cash,
That ends up being quite a bit of money, really, when you think about it, because that's 16 miners you're talking about if you're going up to 8 Omegas.
Yeah, I helped 6 people go to all Omegas on Sunday.
Yeah.
This the next day or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
sorry, that happens. So, no, I think it's great. I know a lot of people ask me about the farming situation and when will that happen? When will we have more onboarding, easier processes and stuff like that? But I mean, that all comes with the new branding and everything, right?
Yeah, when the app comes out, it's pretty seamless. I mean, you don't really need anybody to hold your hand to get it going. You know what I mean? It should just be pretty simple for people to even do it just on their own. I don't think we'll need a whole lot of assistance. People shouldn't need a whole lot of assistance once this comes out.
I had a question too. I get this a lot, and I mean, to me, it makes common sense. So if I was going to, let's say I'll buy some MQT, I'll go buy 100 of them, or should I use what I'm making and evolve my miners, or use that I'm holding, evolve my miners to the very top, Omegas? In time, will I make more MQT having stronger miners than just holding 100 MQT? I know the answer, but I get asked that a lot.
Well, I guess a lot of it depends on, what price did you buy your MoveQuest at? Obviously, if you're mining it, it only costs you what it costs to submit. But gone are the days where you're going to make 30 MoveQuests a day, right? You guys were doing that in the very beginning. And remember to double what you're mining right now. So if you mined 2 today, you really mined 4 because of that reserve amount of MoveQuest. And again, if you've got the MoveQuest and it's easier financially not to go buy more MoveQuests, then of course mint your or use the MoveQuest that you've got, because of course you're always going to make more MoveQuest. Even if it's less MoveQuest, the MoveQuest will be more valuable. And you can always buy more when it drops. Buy it on the dip.
Right.
So I can't answer that question for a person because it's all really based on a person's financial situation. I mean, if it was me and I had the money to evolve, I wouldn't sell one of my MoveQuest.
No. I mean, my thing is though too, when Kenneth was talking about the Gala nodes, is it smarter to buy Gala tokens or buy a Gala node?
Well, back then, I wish I would have bought my Gala nodes too, and I never did.
Yeah. So do you want, to me, it's like, do you just want to buy MQT, or why don't you buy miners? And as you're making MQT,
that's your question. Yeah. Okay, I can answer that one real simple. I had that presented to me. Somebody had told someone, well, it's better for me to buy $10,000 worth of MoveQuest and just hold it. Well, I did the math, and it absolutely was not, because in 90 days, for half of what he spent on that MoveQuest, he could have evolved up to 8 Omegas, and he would have already tripled what he had already bought. So it's much better to buy the miners and mine the MoveQuest than it is to buy the MoveQuest and just sit on it.
That's kind of what I was trying to ask.
Now I get what your question was.
And it goes back
to
this.
Absolutely mine that MoveQuest.
And it goes back to this, Lynette always said, would you rather have a glass of milk or the cow that produces the milk?
Right. You want the cow that produces that milk.
Or you could be like Quentin and get the whole farm.
Love it. Gotta love it. Yeah.
So
Good.
that's
No, no.
cool.
I mean, it's what, yeah, buy the MoveQuest and hold it if you can. But you absolutely want to mine that MoveQuest. I mean, you're getting MoveQuest every day for the rest of your life. And then not only that, but you can will it to your family. I mean, and they'll get it for the rest of their lives. I mean, this is legacy money.
Mm.
I like it. I like it. No,
Oh, you
that's it.
definitely want the cow.
Let's get the
And on
cows.
the reserve too, because a lot of people they don't hear that when you talk about it sometimes. And they don't understand how big that is, because even like Quentin talked about, he has 4 watches, right? He has 4 watches on in a 30-day span. In those 4 watches, what did you make, Quentin? Almost 400 MQT. I don't know if you can hear me or
He's
unmute.
popping. He's popping on
Yeah,
now.
yeah, well, from the actual watches, I want to say it might have been about 220 or so for the month.
220 for the month. So, Lynette, what does that mean if he made 220 now at us getting 2,500 distribution,
That means he's got plus 220 more sitting there
sitting there in an extra smart
in a
contract?
reserve contract.
And now when should he expect that to happen? And what can we do as a community to make that happen faster?
Stop overselling the token.
Stop overselling the token. What else?
That's it, really. I mean, the growth of the community and the liquidity. So when the community stops overselling the token, the liquidity will be able to boost back up again. Right now, it's maintaining, which is great. Maintaining is great. But if you want to see that surge, you know what I mean? There's got to be a demand for that token before you sell it. If you sell it before there's a demand, then you're not doing yourself any justice. Again, if you're selling it to evolve, that's different because there's a loop. It feeds back into the liquidity 2 to 3 different times out of the day, sometimes even more than that during the day. So that's not so much the issue. But the ones that are just selling it to sell it, and you get that a lot. I get it. Everybody's like, well, I'm just going to get it while I can because you never know. Well, if you have sold and you have whatever it costs you back, I'd stop selling and start holding because
Makes
you're
a
going to
lot.
make a whole lot more money.
Yeah. So if you guys are listening, stop overselling. Pretty simple. And get as many omegas as you can and get out there and get 20,000 plus steps, because even over 20,000 steps, there's extra bonuses on getting, more MQT. And everything you're making, it's double that after the 48-hour submission part.
And
That's
think about it like this too. So, like, take Quentin, for example. He's got that extra 220 MoveQuest sitting there, right? Today, the market value is $68. So if he was to sell the 220 that he's got at $68, right? Imagine now he's still got the 220 sitting there. And if it doesn't release until, let's say, the token is at $150, do you see the amount of money that's sitting in that reserve contract?
yeah, that's better than a 401k. I like that. That's good.
Absolutely.
So that reserve contract is basically, again, balancing out the overselling.
That drives me to go help more people join, and
This
everybody.
entire project, it protects the community.
Where have you heard?
I mean,
Where have you heard that before, Kenneth? Where have you heard that before? Nowhere.
Tell you, it never gets old. You just keep hearing stuff you never heard before, and then you see it actually real time. Do it like okay.
One thing I want to ask Lynette, because I know I've had several conversations prior to this evening, and quite a few are asking in the chat. Can you touch back on farming, the difference between farming and staking, and what that looks like in relation to what we're doing?
so basically, the farming, you're going to be earning the MoveQuest. So with staking, when we were doing the staking, it was for the USDT. In the farming, what you're locking it in to a smart contract for X amount of time to farm more MoveQuest, and there'll be a percentage of that per day that will be rewarded for farming. So it's a form of staking, but you're farming the MoveQuest.
So, Lynette, when will we be seeing that again? I think you said by Saturday. That'll be
Well, I'm
kind of
hoping it'll
in the
be
works.
done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know we got a lot going on, but I think that's a significant one. People really we're looking forward. When you broke that down that evening, it carried a lot of weight. People went away really excited about that. So looking forward to
Yeah.
that.
And will that be done directly, just so we can know when that opens up? That will all be done at the getfitmining.com site, correct? Or will that be done in the app? Or
Nah, I'm sure it'll be done in the Web3.
okay,
So I mean, I don't even really know if it would be considered farming or staking, to be honest with you, because it's kind of our own little makeshift contract. I mean, it's a combination of both, really, because it's so farming generally works with your liquidity pools, okay? But it's not directly working with liquidity pool, but it has an effect on the liquidity because you're locking those tokens away basically so that they're not sold into the liquidity pool. But with the staking, it's kind of like a combination of both staking and farming because it's a little bit different. And I'm going to have to just explain it to everybody when it's done so you see what the percentages are. We're not locking it down permanently, but we are permanently for long lengths of time. We'll have 1 month, 3 months, 6 month, and 12-month options for people. Obviously, people who are going to lock it in that contract for 12 months are going to have a higher percentage of MoveQuest. Those that are only going to do it for the month are going to have a lower percentage of the MoveQuest. But there are some benefits to it. If it's in that smart contract, it can't be hacked. So you don't have to worry about losing your MoveQuest in your wallet like so many people have had happen already. And secondly, you're making more MoveQuest if you're not planning on selling it. So, it's all positives. But on the project side, it's a very positive thing because it allows these smart contracts to be more precise mathematically because it knows what's in those contracts that's not going to be sold. So right now, all the algorithms figure that every single token is going to be sold. 100% of all tokens held will be sold. So this contract is going to really make things better as far as a lot of the math within this project because it will know what's in that contract is not being sold. So it's going to adjust some things in a very positive way. Because when I do my spreadsheets, I always say this is based on everybody selling 100% of their tokens. Those tokens that are in that contract aren't being sold. That changes things a bit.